The Surangama Sutra, Volume 7, 91. That is why in this world, movement brings about sounds, sounds bring about forms, forms bring about smells, smells bring about contact, contact brings about tastes, and tastes brings about awareness of dharmas. The random false thinking resulting from those six creates karma, and this continuous revolving becomes the cause of 12 different categories. And so in the world, sounds, smells, tastes, contact, and the like are each transformed throughout the 12 categories to make one complete cycle. Based on that continuously revolving process involving upside-down phenomena, those born from eggs, those born from wombs, those born from moisture, and those born by transformation, beings with form, those without form, those with thought, and those without thought, beings not totally endowed with form, those not totally lacking form, those not totally endowed with thought, and those not totally lacking thought, come into being in this world. Ananda, through a continuous process of falseness, the upside-down state of movement occurs in this world. It unites with energy to become 84,000 kinds of random thoughts that either fly up or dive down. From that, eggs come into being and transmigrate throughout the lands as fish, birds, amphibians, and reptiles, so that their kinds are bound. Through a continuous process of defilement, the upside-down state of desire occurs in this world. It unites with stimulation to become 84,000 kinds of random thoughts that are either erect or horizontal. From that, embryos in wombs come into being and transmigrate throughout the lands as human beings, animals, dragons, and immortals, until their kinds abound. Through a continuous process of attachment, the upside-down state of inclination occurs in this world. It unites with warmth to become 84,000 kinds of random thoughts that are vacillating and inverted. From that, organisms in moisture come into being and transmigrate throughout the lands as insects and crawling invertebrates until their kinds abound. Through a continuous process of change, the upside-down state of borrowing occurs in this world. Based on upside-downness, it unites with contact to become 84,000 kinds of random thoughts of new and old. From that, organisms that undergo transformations come into being and transmigrate throughout the lands as forms of metamorphic, flying and crawling creatures until their kinds abound. Through a continuous process of restraint, the upside-down state of obstruction occurs in this world. It unites with attachment to become 84,000 kinds of random thoughts of refinement and brilliance. From that, animate entities that possess form come into being and transmigrate throughout the lands as auspicious and inauspicious creatures until their kinds abound. Through a continuous process of annihilation and dispersion, the upside-down state of delusion occurs in this world. It unites with darkness to become 84,000 kinds of random thoughts of obscurity and hiding. From that, animate entities that are formless come into being and transmigrate throughout the lands as empty, dispersed, annihilated, and submerged beings until their kinds abound. Through a continuous process of illusory imaginings, the upside-down state of shadows occurs in this world. It unites with memory to become 84,000 kinds of random thoughts that are hidden and bound up. From that, animate entities endowed with thought come into being and transmigrate throughout the lands as spirits, ghosts, and devious beings until their kinds abound. Through a continuous process of dullness and slowness, the upside-down state of stupidity occurs in this world. It unites with obstinacy to become 84,000 kinds of random thoughts that are dry and attenuated. From that, animate entities lacking thought come into being and transmigrate throughout the lands as their vitality and spirit change into earth, wood, metal or stone until their kinds abound. Through a continuous process of parasitic interaction, the upside-down state of stimulation occurs in this world. It unites with defilement to become 84,000 kinds of random thoughts of according and relying. From that, animate entities not actually endowed with form take on embryonic forms and transmigrate throughout the lands until their kinds abound, as jellyfish that use shrimp for eyes and the like. Through a continuous process of mutual enticement, an upside-down state of the nature occurs in this world. It unites with mantras to become 84,000 kinds of random thoughts of reckoning and summoning. From that, animate entities not actually lacking form become formless beings and transmigrate throughout the lands as the hidden beings of mantras and incantations until their kinds abound. Through a continuous process of false unity, the upside-down state of transgression occurs in this world. It unites with unlike formations to become 84,000 kinds of random thoughts of reciprocal interchange. From that, animate entities not actually endowed with thought become beings endowed with thought and transmigrate throughout the lands in such forms as a wasp that turns a different creature into its own species and the like, until their kinds abound. Through a continuous process of enmity and harm, the upside-down state of killing occurs in this world. It unites with monstrosities to become 84,000 kinds of random thoughts of devouring one's father and mother. From that, animate entities not actually lacking thought become beings that lack thought and transmigrate throughout the lands, until their kinds abound in such forms as the owl, which hatches its young from clods of dirt, and the broken mirror bird, which incubates a poisonous fruit to create its young, whereupon the young of each eat the parents and the like, until their kinds abound. These are the 12 categories of beings. Dedication of merit. May the merit and virtue accrued from this work adorn the Buddha's pure lands, repaying 4 kinds of kindness above, and aiding those suffering in the paths below. May those who see and hear of this all bring forth the resolve for body, and when this retribution body is over, be born together in the land of ultimate bliss.